Maybe you thought about booking a European Christmas river cruise to see those famous holiday markets. But you have questions. What are the ships like? How about the food? What will you see? How does it all work? Today, we'll take a look at the Danube River trip that Gate 1 Travel has put together from Prague to Vienna, featuring their ship, the Monarch Baroness. We flew to our starting point, the beautiful city of Prague in the Czech Republic. Having booked the flights ourselves, we decided to make our own way to the hotel. Uber is a big presence with their own kiosks and even a counter at the airport. We were quickly on our way into the city and to our Gate 1 accommodations at the very nice Cosmopolitan Hotel. After a good night's sleep, we headed to the very satisfactory buffet breakfast in the hotel dining room. That afternoon, we checked in for our orientation meeting where we met our fellow travelers and our tour manager, the pleasant and very able Mira.
The buses will be here at 8 o'clock. I would like to kindly ask you to be here at 8 o'clock.
She took us for a quick walk of the area around the hotel, giving us tips on things like ATMs, places to eat, and how to use the local public transportation, which by the way is first rate and dressed up for the holidays. The next day, the touring began in earnest, and we were eager to see more of the city of 1.4 million people.
So from here the castle looks medieval with this deep moat underneath.
Our guide Renata led the way, taking us to the famed Prague Castle complex, which is also the workplace and residence of the president. We walked on cobblestone streets and toured a number of historical neighborhoods. There was still plenty of free time, which meant we could check out Prague's famous astronomical clock with its moving figures. It gave us a chance to walk across the landmark Charles Bridge, which is made of stone and dates back to medieval times, and allowed us the opportunity to take a small boat tour on the Vltava River. The local government keeps the city very clean, and we felt quite safe the entire time. Note, there are warnings about pickpockets. After the tour, we visited a number of Christmas markets on our own. There were multiple shopping options, all kinds of food choices, and plenty of the popular warm mulled wine being poured and consumed. I do suggest trying the famous local chimney cakes, which can be deliciously customized with ice cream. The next morning, we boarded buses for the 3-hour trip to Regensburg, Germany, where our ship was docked. We made one tour stop along the way in the lovely Czech town of Pilsen, the birthplace of Pilsner beer.
You can taste as many as you wish. They open at 11.
We sampled the local product and took a short walking tour that ended in the town's Christmas market. It was Sunday morning, and the market was already busy. Everyone was welcome, including an excited parade of local dogs. Then it was back on the bus for the final short leg to Regensburg and our first glimpse of our home for the next 5 nights, the Monarch Baroness. Our ship features 90 cabins and can hold a maximum of 170 or so passengers. The crew quickly unloaded our bags while we made our way to the reception desk to check in.
Passport.
2 minutes later, we were being escorted to our cabin, a suite on the top deck. Other cabin features are this separate seating area and this cool rotating television. There's also a small refrigerator, an ice bucket, a small safe in the closet, a bathrobe and slippers, hair dryer, and a wireless receiver and earphones for the walking tours. There's one North American-style electrical outlet so you can charge your devices, and I suggest also bringing a foreign power adapter for the European outlet. There's no iron, but you can request one from the front desk. There's plenty of space under the beds to store your luggage. I do have one suggestion for Gate 1. Although there is adequate closet space, it might be nice to add some hooks to this blank space on the wall in order to hang those winter coats and hats. There are 3 decks on the ship. The middle deck features mostly cabins that also have French balconies, but no separate seating area. The lower deck has cabins with no balcony and a higher window. The dining room is the location for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The panorama main lounge area is the social heart of the ship, where meetings, talks, and entertainment takes place. It features a full bar. The back of the ship features a smaller, more intimate lounge. There's a coffee machine, a selection of teas and cookies for those who want a snack, a water dispenser, and an ice machine. There's also outside seating areas in the back where people can smoke, and another outdoor seating area in the front of the vessel. The top side of the Baroness was pretty quiet due to the colder winter temperatures, but chairs and tables were available. Other amenities include a small gym with workout machines and an elevator to move between the 3 decks.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's orange juice and champagne.
Champagne, please. Thank you very much.
That first night, everyone was invited to the Welcome Aboard meeting, where we heard from our cruise director, Uta,
the tours will be out at the reception desk.
as well as our activities director, the kitchen chef, and assorted ship's officers. We then headed off to our first dinner.
Welcome and wish you bon appetit.
The food throughout the voyage was excellent, served by a very attentive staff. By the way, wine, beer, and soft drinks are complimentary at dinner time.
Beautiful.
Afterwards, many people went to the lounge to enjoy a cocktail and some entertainment. The nightly activities ranged from singers to game shows and trivia contests.
What is the largest social media network in the world?
To karaoke and dancing. The next morning, it was back to the dining room for breakfast. I ordered up an omelet and chose items from the buffet, but you can also order the daily special breakfast entree. We then disembarked the Baroness and split into smaller groups for our included Regensburg walking tour, which was led by a local guide.
We have a lot of small statues on the outside, and each and every statue is telling us a little story.
Later in the day, we took our cruise director's suggestion and visited the private and very worthwhile romantic Christmas market on the spectacular grounds of the 500-room Turn and Taxis Castle. A small entrance fee gave us access to an impressive amount of booths selling a wide variety of items. There were numerous choices for food and drink. In a trip filled with top-notch Christmas markets, this was at the top. We departed that evening for our next stop. One thing we discovered is that with the shorter winter days, almost all of our sailing was done at nighttime. There's still some interesting scenery and more than a few brightly lit riverboats passing by. One note, ships on the Danube do go through a regular series of locks. They can be a bit noisy, especially in the middle of the night, but the process is fascinating to watch. The next morning, we arrived in the lower Bavarian city of Passau. Many of our fellow passengers boarded buses for an optional all-day tour to Salzburg, Austria.
Now you could conquer them with the cannons.
We stayed behind and took a Gate 1 guided walking tour of the city where three rivers all meet. We later hiked up to the 13th century fortress that overlooks the entire area for a bird's eye view of the town and rivers below. Our next port was the city of Linz, Austria. We boarded buses for our optional all-day excursion that took us to the Czech Republic town of Cesky Krumlov, another UNESCO World Heritage Site that features the fabulous state castle and chateau, along with spectacular views of the historic town. We were back in Linz by nightfall and checked out the city's impressively lit downtown Christmas market, where there were multiple shopping options, a wide selection of wine and beer being poured, a whole lot of sauerkraut being dished up, and many tourists and locals gathered to enjoy each other's company. Then it was back to the ship, where that evening the crew put on a special thank you dinner, which concluded with some delicious desserts, and then it was off to the lounge for another wonderful concert.
Oh my God, have a jolly Christmas this year.
We woke up the next morning to enjoy our first daytime sailing. It was our last full day of the trip, and we had a mid-morning arrival on the outskirts of Vienna. We went by bus for a driving tour around the city.
You can see a little bit the zigzag route of St. Stephen's Cathedral,
followed by an escorted walking tour through some of the most historic central areas.
Here on the left-hand side we have the Austrian National Library.
A real highlight? We saw the stables, which are the home of the world-famous Royal Lipizzaner stallions, and a few of them demonstrated they weren't camera shy. That night, before our final dinner, passengers and crew gathered to say goodbye.
And with that, I do thank you very much for coming along, for enjoying the ride. I hope to see you back next year or the year afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a Merry Christmas to all of you, Happy New Year, and I hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Grazie mille.
Thank you for being our guest. Have a safety journey home. Cheers. Cheers.
This was our third river cruise with Gate 1, and once again, we enjoyed it immensely. One of the things that impressed me the most is the high percentage of repeat guests who have booked previous vacations with the company. Obviously, they are happy with how they are treated by Gate 1, and so are we. We were extremely pleased with the ship, our cabin, the quality and choices of meals, and especially the first-rate staff. Gate 1 advertises with the slogan, "More of the world for less," but the quality of this voyage compares very favorably with the much more expensive river cruise companies. I give Gate 1's Christmas Market Cruise and the Monarch Baroness a big thumbs up. This is Mark Retschmal reporting.